Good morning, Beeville. This is Cindy Clark from PAC-B TV. I wish you all a good morning on this kind of sad and rainy day. But anyways, this morning I have with me Sheila Leone from Erin's Angels, which I'm sure all of you have heard of in this area.
Hopefully.
Yes, hopefully. And Sheila is, thank you very much for coming, by the way. I appreciate you taking time. But she is going to tell us all about Erin's Angels, how it started, why it started, where they're at, and give us some insight. And then she's going to let us know any events that they have coming for fundraising. So again, thank you for coming, and let's start right at the beginning. What got you involved in Erin's Angels?
Well, thank you for having me. And what got me involved is when I first moved here to Central New York, I lived right in Fairways North area, and my kids went to the Phoenix School District. We were in Onondaga County, but I was able to integrate the kids in kind of both counties and neighborhoods, and I just really loved it here. It's such a great area. And when the kids were about to start school, unfortunately, this news story just took over, and it was the story of Erin Elizabeth Maxwell, who unfortunately she was not taken care of by her family members, and she was in really dire situation. But the school tried to help, the teachers tried to help, everyone tried to help her, but ultimately she passed away. She was murdered, and the home that she lived in was just deplorable. I mean, everybody in the community just couldn't believe that something like this could happen to a child, right? The children and senior citizens, like, they're our most vulnerable population. We should be caring for them and looking after them. And she fell through the cracks.
Yeah, she did.
And one thing I found out was that she was hungry all the time. And once my kids got to school, I started working in food service because I was a stay-at-home mom prior to that, and working as a lunch lady was the greatest way for me to still be home with my kids and get them on the bus in the morning, get them off the bus in the evening, and in the afternoon, rather. And when I talked to the different staff members at the school, they were telling me that Erin's parents wouldn't even fill out the paperwork for her to get free lunch. So lunch ladies, teachers, principals, they were all pooling their money to make sure she got fed every day. Her teacher actually saw her once going through the trash in the classroom looking for food to put in her backpack to bring home, because she would go home and unfortunately get locked in her room. I mean, it was an awful situation. And so that is really what spurred me to action, because when I was a lunch lady, after the bell would ring, lots of kids would just gather up their things and head off to the classroom, but certain kids would kind of be slower about it and hang back. And then when their peers left, they would come up and say, "Can I get another apple or banana or something," like whatever was left in the lunch line. And to me, it was like a light bulb moment. Like, I just correlated those two things in my mind. Like, there was this hungry child, and nothing was being done about it, and there's still hungry kids. So what's going on here? So I went to the school social worker, and I said, it's these same kids, what's going on? And she said, well, we really need a weekend backpack program. We're the only school in Oswego County without one. And so I always tell people, hell hath no fury but a mother who knows there's a hungry child. How is it that this little girl died and was hungry all the time, and we are the only school in Oswego County years later without one? Like, it's not okay. Mm-hmm. And so I asked everyone I could to go under their wing in order to raise money to start this program. And I went to the PTA and was told no. I reached out to fire department, churches. I just wasn't getting anywhere. Nobody was seeing my vision for some reason. But I just kept talking about it, and I kept putting it out into the universe, and I did not give up. And lo and behold, one day at a Lions Club meeting, of all things, which unfortunately is not even in, they're not around anymore in Phoenix, but they directed me to the Southern Oswego County Council of Churches. Yes, that's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is. You did very well, though.
Yeah. And they believed in what I wanted to do and said yes right away. And so we were under their realm until I got a sponsor to pay for an attorney to get our own 501c3. And since then, I don't have exact numbers, but based on all the food we've sent home in the past and our endowment and what we're doing now, I've probably raised close to $1 million feeding kids in need in Central New York.
That's impressive. Very impressive.
Thank
For
you.
a vision that you had one day because you said something has to be done.
Yeah.
And you did it.
Yeah. My favorite quote, your viewers probably know who Lily Tomlin is. And she said, I always wondered why somebody didn't do something about that. And then I realized I am somebody. And I urge people to think about that, because I could have been the kind of person that was like, oh, that stinks. We're the only school in Oswego County without a backpack program. Sure hope somebody does something about that someday.
Right.
Be the person. Be that person who's going to make a change in the world and bring happiness and brightness to people's lives.
Well, I think that's fabulous that you've done that. I give you a lot of credit because just living, I've seen how difficult that can be. You know, you get the doors slammed on you over and over again, but you keep pushing. You keep pushing. So, anyways, you've got the churches to develop an interest, and then did you get a permanent sponsor or an endowment, or you said there was an endowment? Now, where did you go from that point with the churches to where you are now?
So once we got our 501c3 status, I was able to go to the Shinneman Foundation in Oswego. Has a ton of really great educational programs for nonprofits. And so this was pre-COVID, I went there for a nonprofit education event on fundraising 101. And it was like a 2-day class or something. And I just took in as much information as I could. Because remember, I didn't go to school for this. I didn't go to school to learn how to be a professional fundraiser. But I did any webinar, any educational program that I could do. I just engulfed myself in as much information as possible. How can I do this to make it successful? Because when I went to the school to tell them I wanted to do this program, the superintendent said at the very end, after we all agreed, yes, this is wonderful, let's do this, he said, Sheila, I think this is great, but it needs to be sustainable. In other words, he didn't want us sending food home for a year and then being like, oh, this is a lot of work, I can't keep this up.
Wow.
You know, and so sustainability is a huge issue with all the backpack programs in all of Central New York, because many of them are simply run by volunteers who, out of the goodness of their own heart, just want to do the dirty work, I'll say, of putting the food together and everything. But the fundraising part is hard. You know, I urge people to watch. There's a movie out there called Uncharitable, and it tells about how difficult it is for charities. I mean, we constantly feel that we're begging for money, you know, but we need it. Like, we send home food. Food is consumable. We always need to buy more. And so for these kids who have come to rely on these programs, you can't stop there. And we believe that taking care of a stranger is just as important as caring for our own loved ones. That's a firm belief of our board. In order to join my board, you have to have that like-mindedness about you, that we're doing this because we care about people that we don't even know.
So how long has this been going on? When did you get this started?
Started in 2017. We got our 501c3 status through the IRS in 2019.
Okay. And you've been sustaining it ever since.
Yeah,
Through a lot of hard work, I'm sure. Now you have fundraisers. You have now you have an actual venue where you keep all of the foods, and is it a walk-in type thing there? Because I know I went there, and it's well stocked. I have to say it's very well stocked. You've got quite a thing going there. Now, that's your headquarters, I presume?
Yep, we're in Three Rivers Plaza, right across from the Burn Dairy in Phoenix.
Okay.
And we partnered with Amazon back in August, and we get donations from them monthly. a lot of essential items like deodorants and toothpaste and things like that that aren't covered by SNAP benefits. And we open that up to our community once a month to come in and do a giveaway, and they can just walk through with a couple of shopping bags and fill up with things that we got donated from Amazon.
Now that must have been interesting getting that. That's a beautiful donation. I mean, that's sustainable. I mean, Amazon is a huge corporation, and that's a great thing. And you mentioned that the SNAP doesn't cover those health and beauty aids and all of that, which I never understood, because you have to eat, of course, but part of eating is keeping clean and laundry, all of this stuff. I never understood this, so I think I don't know how you did that. I know you go there. I know you're persistent because I have seen you everywhere. It started out, several years ago where I'd hear this Erin's Angels. I was very familiar with the case from where I worked, and then I saw this. I said, "What a great organization!" And then I started to see more. I started to see more information on Facebook, the fundraisers, the Chamber of Commerce, and then I've watched you grow. And I said, "Well, I got to talk to her and let everybody know that doesn't know, because you're out there all the time. Let's continue to let everybody else know what you do and what you need and what you want." And how many kids do you do on average this with this backpack?
We feed about 250 kids every single weekend, which works out to be over 20,000 meals during the school year. So one thing, when I got the 501c3 status, I named it Erin's Angels of CNY, because I believe that we shouldn't be limited to a zip code. So obviously we started in Phoenix. That's our base. That's where we will always probably do our programs first. But we also partnered with West Genesee recently, and we have a program where every February we raise money for different backpack programs. Last year we donated money to the Baldwinsville backpack program. This year it was Hannibal. So our outreach program is wonderful because we can help other backpack programs that might not have the fundraising capacity that we do. Another instance of that is the Red House Theater in Syracuse has a great spring and summer program to teach theater to children, theater arts. And as long as what people or what organizations are doing has an educational component to it, which that does, we can partner with them. So they had students in their program that were coming from Fayetteville, Baldwinsville, or whatever, beautiful lunches every day, but they scholarship students in from Syracuse, and they were coming without food. And so we partnered with Brooklyn Pickle this year, and Brooklyn Pickle gave us a great price on box lunches to make sure those kids have the same. It's all about equity, right? I mean, equity and access to an essential, thing, food. And so the outreach program is a really wonderful way if the community wants to get involved and know that it's being spread out throughout Central New York wherever there's a need. Or they can donate specifically to Phoenix or specifically to West Genesee. We also have a scholarship program, and that was developed with the thought that, you can give a man a fish, but if you teach him to fish, he can have a lifetime of food.
That's right. That's right.
So we would love it if the kids who are in our Erin's Angels program didn't then have kids who needed the Erin's Angels program. So what can we do to ensure that they're going to not be in that position? And education is the only way out of poverty. They need to continue their education, whether it be in a college, university, or trade school. Trades are wonderful and very, very lucrative as far as salaries people can make. So students can apply for our Feed Our Future scholarship. We give out $400 or $500 scholarships every year. In order to encourage that, we want to encourage them to continue their education.
You've been involved in this right from the get-go. Now you say you have a board now. You have obviously you make decisions and all of that. Now, there's going to come some time when you're going to need more help as far as, well, you're not going to do this for the rest of your life. So are you seeking assistance there? I mean, having somebody else come in to try to maybe take over the reins at some point, or, you're mentoring somebody, or will you mentor somebody? Because this, to me, from what I've heard, is pretty much a full-time job.
It's a full-time job.
Volunteer job right now.
It's a labor of love.
Yes,
I
it
have
is.
never taken 1 cent of a salary for what I do every day as director. And I know that that is a position that needs to continue, but I'd love to retire someday.
Sure.
And so
Yes.
in order to plan for that, we went through a life cycles assessment with a consultant last year. And that was the big thing that came out of it, is that we need to hire somebody. We'll probably start out with a part-time position in fund development, someone that I can train, and so that we can remain sustainable. So part of that process has been partnering with Carolyn Hendrickson at the Upstate Foundation and creating an endowment. So we really want to grow that endowment so that eventually the money that comes off from that can be put towards a salary to keep it sustainable and keep it going.
Oh, I think that's fabulous. I'm going over my head thinking the hours, the time that you must spend doing this. I give you so much credit for that. Right along those lines in the fundraising, what do you have coming up, so you can let the viewing public here know what you've got coming up to help this great organization?
Yeah, for sure. One thing I definitely want to let your viewers know about before I talk about fundraisers is that the other thing that I love to do, because I network a lot. Obviously, that's how we've met at different events.
Absolutely.
And everything. And so networking is wonderful. And in the process of that, I met with some people from the United Way of Central New York, and I was telling them that in the summer months, it breaks my heart because the kids aren't in school to get their weekend meal bags. Because when they're in school, they go home on the bus with them. But in the summer months, there's certain schools that have the free school meals, which is great. But I want people to really think about what it means to be in poverty, because the biggest obstacle for people in poverty is they don't have transportation. So you can have those free meals at the school, but if kids can't get there, it's a moot point.
Right. You're right. I never thought of that. Never thought of that.
So the United Way said, oh, we've got a great program with DoorDash, where DoorDash will deliver essential items for you. And I was floored, and I thought, oh, I'm going to give this a try. Let me tell you, Cindy, it worked out beautifully. Last year, we put together our weekend meal bags like we normally do throughout the school year, and every Friday, DoorDashers picked them up and delivered them directly to the kids' houses.
How many do you have on average?
For that, we didn't have many. We started small, because that's one thing I've learned with whenever you start a new program, it's kind of, really, before you go big, you've got to make sure.
Before you invest too much, you got to make sure it's going to be successful or necessary or whatever.
And there's bumps in the roads, we learned a lot from what we did. So it was just under 20 kids every week that we did last year in the summer. This year it'll probably be more. Do
they let you know? I mean, is that how they reach out to you? The parents reach out to you to establish the need? So
the everything during the school year is anonymous. We don't know kids' names or anything like that. But for the summer program, the social worker at the school sends home a link, basically, where families can opt in if they want to, because obviously it can't be anonymous in the summer if we need to know their address to send it to. So the families opt in to take advantage of the summer program.
Okay. Well, what do you have coming up as far as fundraisers?
Oh,
I mean, this is the big one here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love the events. They're a lot of fun, and the next.
You get some very unique events too. Nothing like I've ever seen anywhere before.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, yes. So your viewers are going to want to check this out. And last I checked, I think there's 8 tickets left out of 100. So there's not many. If you want to go, you got to get your tickets now. It's called Bingo for Bags, and bingo, obviously, but instead of cash prizes, designer bags. So we've got Michael Kors, Kate Spade, Coach, all kinds of beautiful bags. Plus, we're doing a resale boutique where people have donated their designer bags that they're no longer wanting but are in perfect condition. So you can shop our resale boutique for that. And then we're going to have raffles and food.
Now,
all
where's this
kinds of
gonna
fun
be?
stuff. It's called White Pines Commons. It's a brand new facility, well, a few years old, in Phoenix, right across from the middle school. But it's a beautiful room, and we're really excited to do this event.
Oh, that'll be so much
And
fun.
there,
I know. Now, what's the date of that?
April 27th.
Okay,
3 to
okay.
7 p.m. And then the event after that, well, we'll be in the Memorial Day Parade in Phoenix. We always do that, and we welcome people to want to wear purple and come march with us. Please do.
I notice you have your purple on today.
Yes, I try to. And
Yep.
I've got my picture of Erin. I always, whenever I do interviews about her, I always wear this because she is the reason.
She sure is.
Yeah.
She sure is. Sadly.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad. You know, they say with everything bad comes something good.
Yes.
And here's a situation that was very tragic. However, you took it upon yourself to turn it around so this little child would never be forgotten, and you will continue to preserve her legacy as long as you can down the road.
Yeah.
So I hope she's up there saying and smiling and saying she's very happy with what you've done, so nobody else has to go through this and no child has to be hungry. Again, that's what keeps us going, is the food. We have to have the food. And your dedication to all of this, I have to believe she's smiling, definitely smiling.
I do too, and I want to make note too that there were family members that cared about her. She does have family out west as well, and she had has an aunt, Aunt Jenny, we call her, and Jeanette loved her dearly, and she's an artist, and she was the one who gave us permission to use the photo of Erin in the beginning when we first started, that she painted, and she is now a jewelry designer, and she works for a jeweler there, and she recently created a pendant. It's a beautiful heart-shaped pendant with a little girl like holding a tulip, like a silhouette. It's absolutely beautiful, and they're donating some of those for us. So please follow us on social media. When we get those pendants, they're going to be available as a fundraiser, and those are made by her aunt and her family who did love her and care about her.
Oh, that's very nice. Now, you've got the pocketbook thing coming up here. Now, what else? I didn't see on
Cruise for
Facebook?
Food.
Okay.
That Cruise for Food is our longest running fundraiser. Actually, we started that one back in 2019. Was the first one, so it's the one that's been around every year since we got our status with the IRS. So it's a motorcycle run.
Okay.
People can buy tickets to ride in the run, or it could be on a motorcycle or in a car, it doesn't matter, or just come to the event. It's going to be at the Phoenix VFW.
Okay.
There's going to be bounce houses, food, chicken dinners, lots of raffles. This one, we have the most raffle baskets out of any of our events, and they're really good ones. So I encourage people to come and to stick with our mission and our vision of No Kid Hungry. We also offer kids meals. Any child under 18 gets a hot dog, chips, and a drink, courtesy of Erin's Angels, just to prove that, there's not going to be any child hungry near us anytime soon.
That is so good. Now, that's as far as down the road. Any future ones even after that, after the cruising?
Well, we're always at Locktoberfest in Phoenix, which is a really fun fall festival. And then we also do one called Friendsgiving, which is always the Sunday before Thanksgiving. And
Okay.
it's held in various locations this year. I believe where the fundraising committee decided to move it to Home Team Pub right in Liverpool, because as we've grown out of spaces in Phoenix. So we'll be there the Sunday before Thanksgiving, and that's another fun one where we just ask our supporters to come out and eat, drink, and be merry with us. And we do 50/50s and raffle baskets and everything for that one. So
All in your spare time, I'm sure.
Yeah, right.
I know. Busy, busy, busy. I know your life is full. Have we hit it all as far as the fundraisers?
I think so. Certainly,
Okay.
they're all listed on our website, so people can go on there and check out what we've got going on. Every February, we do a purple party. February was Erin's birthday. February 20th is her birthday, and February 20th is Erin Maxwell Day in Phoenix, New York. Yes.
Very good.
Yeah, but we do a purple party, we call it, because purple was our favorite color. That's why we all wear purple. And we do a fundraiser for her birthday every year in February. And that one specifically, we raise money for the scholarship program.
Now, where do you do that? If you have
That's at the Phoenix VFW.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. They've been very supportive of you as
Phoenix
well.
VFW has been great.
It seems
Yeah.
like the whole village has been so supportive of this cause. Well, it's sad that there is a need for it, but it's wonderful that you've all stepped up to the plate. It seems like it's a community event. I mean, the whole thing is a community event. Like, so many people are involved in this. And if come on and want, I'm hoping that you've gotten a lot of volunteers as the years have gone by, but of course you can always use more. Now, where would people go? Say somebody was interested in learning more about your organization or donating their time. How would they do that? What's the best way that they can do that?
Yeah, well, you're right. It is a community effort, and Erin's Angels belongs to the community. You know, I started it, and I'm the face behind it a lot of the times, but it's not about me. It belongs to the community as a nonprofit. And so for people who want to get involved, I encourage them to go to our website.
Which is?
erinsangels.com.
Okay.
And on there, there's a volunteer link where you can click to sign up. Oh, you're not signing up for anything. All you're doing is signing up to get the emails to tell you when events are available.
Okay.
And we have sign-up spots. And then we definitely encourage people to donate. You know, if you're someone who is able to, if you're not going to miss $20 a month, please join our monthly giving program. The monthly giving is really a great way to help keep us sustainable, because budgeting wise, we know those pledges are coming in. You know, in a way, I appreciate a monthly donor a little bit more than a one-time donor, right? Because they're going to stick with us. They've really joined our team to make a commitment. And then I really encourage your viewers, if I would love for them to think about what they want their legacy to be. So What is it that you want to leave when you're gone? Do you care about kids? Do you care about food insecurity? Do you care about education and scholarships? Then consider donating to our endowment, because we'll keep that going long after you're gone, and you'll get to know that you're leaving a legacy in Central New York.
Oh, it's such a good cause, too. It really, truly is. Well, if anybody, like Erin said, if anybody's interested in donating their time, their money, a monthly, so they can be sustainable, or hearing about events, it's erinsangels.com, ERINS.
Yes.
ANGELS.com, because it's a wonderful cause, and this lady here has spent a lot of her life keeping the legacy going for Erin Maxwell. And thank you so much for coming. I do appreciate you taking the time, because I certainly know you're very, very busy.
Yeah, I'm
very
glad
busy.
to be here.
But thanks again.
Thank you.